GCSE business. It's Mr. Sterling here. I just thought I would start creating some videos just to give you some help in the next sort of few weeks, few months with the OCR business specification. Obviously, we're probably not going to have too much contact time in the near future. So I thought some sort of video lessons might be quite helpful in the sort of next period of time or so. What I thought I'd start off with is going over the specification, the assessment, just have a little refresh. Obviously, I've gone over this all with you before, but sometimes it might be useful just to have a little refresher, just to go back and have a look at the assessment, go back and have a look at the specification. I'll show you a couple of useful things to look out for in the specification as well. After that, what I'm intending on doing is creating a lesson by lesson sort of PowerPoints where I'll sort of talk through them. And then I'll upload them onto YouTube for you to have a little look at. I think that would be probably quite helpful going forward. So let's get started then with the specification. So first off, what you need to do to find the specification, just go onto Google and type in GCSE business OCR and hit return. And then it will come up and you've got the top link there. Just click on that. Internet's being quite slow. There we go. And it will pull this up and it will pull up the specification as well. So just hit that and it'll open up. So this is the OCR specification. I appreciate it's 36 pages and a lot of it is not really worth your time to read, but there are a few things in here that are really important that I just want to draw your attention to. Now, one thing that is annoying about the specification, if you have a look at, say, like the page numbers, it says 2 on there, but it says 4 up there. So what I'll do is I'll just focus on the page numbers at the top up here, okay? So if you have a look, first of all, page 7, I believe. Yeah, so this is page 7, our first sort of important page, I guess. There's 7 bits that you need to learn, okay, within GCSE business across the 2 years, okay, and they're listed on the left-hand side. But just going back a step, there's 2 exams that you're going to do at the end of year 11. Hopefully you know that by now. There's no coursework, no control assessment. You're going to do 2 exams at the end of year 11, okay, and they're both equally weighted. They're both 50% each, okay. The first paper is called Business 1, quite an original name there, and Business 2, that's the second paper. They're both worth 80 marks each, and they're both 90 minutes long. So it's pretty much a mark a minute. There's a little bit of reading time in there, but just go off being a mark a minute. In Business 1, paper 1, you've got 3 topics you need to do. We've already done business activity and marketing. So we've done 2 of the units so far. We haven't done people yet. So that's what I'll be sort of moving on to next. What I will do though is in my first lesson, I'll produce a marketing mix lesson just to go over, because I think, you know, attendance just before we broke up was sort of a bit ropey. So obviously there'll be some of you that want to go over that, and even so, those of you that are in, you might fancy just whizzing over that again, because it's a really important part of the specification and it's quite a large area as well. So I'll do a lesson on marketing mix. And then the next bit will be on people, which starts off with human resources. So my next lessons are going to be based around people. After that, it's operations, and then finance, influences on the business, and the interdependent nature of business. Don't worry about that last one. It's about 2 slides long. It will take us no time at all. So in essence, there's really only 6 units. That 7th one, just don't even worry about it for the time being. What would be great before we hopefully go back in September, would be if we could get people and operations completed, okay? They're not too difficult. There's just quite a bit of content that you sort of need to learn. I would say probably the most difficult unit on here is finance, depending on what your strengths are. If you know, good at maths, then actually finance might be your favorite unit. But certainly finance, I'd like to teach you that face to face, because it is a bit more complex. But if we can get people and operations done by the time we go back in September, and then in September we can do finance, influences on business, and we're pretty much done. So I'm not too worried at the moment. I still think we can get all of this done, and we'll get you ready for the exams at the end of year 11. Yeah, so moving on, skip the next page and then have a look at this page. This page number 9. So page number 9. Again, business 1, business 2, paper 1, paper 2, you'll see the 3 units. There's the 3 units and the bonus one there. It's really good, this page, because it breaks it down into sort of smaller sections. Okay, so these are all the smaller sections that you need to know for each unit. So as I said, we just finished off marketing mix recently, and we're about to start 3.1 human resources down here. Okay, yeah, so but it's a nice page to come back to and just think about where you're at the moment. So we are basically here at the moment, which is not too bad at all. Now, once you have a look onto the next page, and the next few pages are all really useful, but I'll explain how. So as you'll notice here on the left-hand side, so it's 1.1, 1.2, and as I keep going down, 1.3, 1.4, you see where it's going. On the right-hand side next to tick are all the things that you could potentially be asked questions about in the exam for that section. So for example, let's look at business growth 1.6. If you don't know the difference between horizontal and vertical, then you're going to struggle to, well, you won't be able to answer a question on that. Now that could be a 9 marker. Okay. So, you know, that would be a load of marks thrown away there if you don't know what horizontal and vertical is. So this can act, this part of the specification, as a bit of a sort of checklist of things that you need to know. So you could print this off, you could rag rate it, red, amber, green, and make sure you know everything on the right hand side. But really, you should know everything all the way up to 2.4, which is on page 13. All those things on the right hand side, you should know them all. So you should know what price giving is. You should know what promotion is. You should know the difference in invention and innovation. So you should know all of these things on the right hand side. If there is anything you don't know on there, you know, grab your book, have a little look through your textbooks, Google it. There's plenty of ways you can find out about these sort of things, okay? But that's what I'd be doing for the time being. Anyway, that was a quick overview of how you guys could use the specification, and just sort of an update and a reminder on how the assessment is. And in the coming sort of days, I'll be putting on more and more lessons for the next few sort of units. Thanks for your time. See you soon. Cheers. Bye.